Hello, everyone out there in virtual land. It's Miss Birch, and I have another week of great books to show you. So, this week we are going to do Black History Month again with people that are history makers. So, I'm going to share with you a few books that we have and show you some stuff that you could be reading about people that you may have never heard of. So, this This lady is Fannie Lou Hamer. Fannie Lou Hamer grew up in Mississippi on a plantation. Um, Her family, after slavery was over, became sharecroppers, living on the same plantation that her forefathers had lived on. Um, she didn't find out till 1962 that Black Americans could vote. And when she did, she went to go register. When she went to register and came back home, they had already told the man that owned the plantation, "Hey, she's trying to vote." The landowner told her that either she was going to have to go retract her, take away her voting rights, and tear them up, or she was going to have to leave. She left. She, from then on out, she fought for voters' rights for uh, Black Americans in the South who were even told that they had to take English test and history test to be able to qualify to vote. Mm-mm, wrong. So if you want to see a woman who has a lot of spitfire in her, read about Fannie Lou Hamer. Next, this is Derek Coleman Jr., and he has written his own biography called No Excuses. He is the first deaf NFL player to ever play football in the NFL. This tells his story of how he grew up being deaf and how his mother helped modify so he could wear his hearing aids even on the field because they kept falling out at first. So she came up with something to modify them. It also shows his first Super Bowl ever that he played in. Uh, so this story is a story of triumph and perseverance, and don't you ever give up. So if you want inspiration, Derek Coleman Jr. is your man. Next, the first African American female millionaire in the United States. You know how she made her fortune? I'm going to show you. Her name was Sarah Breedlove, but when she sold her product, and her name was Madam C.J. Walker. Now, Madam C.J. Walker was had trouble with her hair falling out, and people back in the early 1900s didn't have good hygiene. You couldn't bathe every day because most people didn't have running water. So a lot of women, black and white, had their scalps were bad. But she found a way to help black women nourish their hair, nourish their scalps, and their hair to regrow. So, Madam C.J. Walker, she also has there's a movie about her life on Netflix, a series. So this is Madam C.J. Walker. We have a couple of books about her and her being the first black woman millionaire in the United States of America. Next, my kind of story. This is the story of Bass Reeves. Now, Bass Reeves was born a slave, and then when he was emancipated, he went and started uh, working as a lawman in the Indian Territory, which is now Oklahoma. But he was born in Arkansas, in Fort Smith, which Fort Smith is just like right over the line into Arkansas from Oklahoma. So he became the first. He was like about a bounty hunter. He he never carried a gun. He never shot, never killed a man. Um, and he was the first deputy U.S. Marshal in the United States back before Oklahoma was even a state. He would go on hunting down these outlaws that were wanted for bank robberies and killing and bring them to justice. So if you want to read about him, this is Bass Reeves. The original Lone Ranger is what they called him. Okay, so this is one of my favorite books in the whole library. This is the story of Henrietta Lacks. This woman is called The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks because we are still using her DNA, her blood. Here's what happened. She was having an issue with a female issue, and she went into the doctor. And when she did, they took blood. You know, that's normal. Well, when they looked at her blood under the microscope, they found out that her blood could replicate itself. Her cells, they named them HeLa cells, HE for Henrietta, LA for Lax. They named them the HeLa cells. Now, these HeLa cells are still used in cancer research today. But with her being in the hospital, it made her, they kept using her blood. And it made her very sick. And her family did not find out until way after she passed away that her cells were being used. You'll find out in the video that you watch here in a minute. And Oprah made this into a movie on HBO. The incredible strong woman that she was, and all about her family. So if you want a great read about someone that has affected and impacted all of our lives, read The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. Now, the last couple of guys I'm going to talk about. Number one is Thurgood Marshall, the first Black U.S. Supreme Court member. He was a lawyer for the NAACP and made a huge difference in, I know people my age, our lives, because it was wonderful to be a part of history and see him make history. I lived that history. We watched it live when he was sworn in. Now, then there's also Benjamin Banneker. Now, Benjamin Banneker he was a architect, and he helped lay out what we know as Washington, D.C. today. He laid out the streets for that. So these two books, well, there's actually 3 books I'm going to show you. This one's called Hand in Hand, 10 Black Men Who Changed America, and they come from all walks of life. And then this is Discovering Black America, and it has several entries and shows different people who made big impacts in life in America. And this one is Amazing African American History, a book of answers for kids. This one is a fun read to me because you can just go through quick entries of it. Now, we have plenty more books about Black history. I would love to see any of you come down, even if you need to come down, it's fine. And I will help you find great stories about great people. You know, biographies are one of my favorites. So I hope everyone's staying warm. And make sure that you use your mindfulness and focus on yourself and take care of yourself. And I hope that you have a great week. Keep those book requests coming in. Bye, guys.